According to the Henslin text, collective behavior refers to extraordinary activities carried out by groups of people. Sometimes this means engaging in less controversial activities like urban legends, fads, or rumors. Other times this means engaging in serious behavior such as riots or mass hysteria. Collective times this means engaging in serious behavior such as riots or mass hysteria. Collective behavior is different than social movements, typically because there is a lack of organized, ongoing leadership. Also, collective behavior does not involve the collection of resources or money. For collective behavior, there are two types of explanations or theories which attempt to explain why people may act differently in groups. These theories can be divided into early and contemporary views. Early explanations include theorists such as McKay and LeBon. McKay felt that individuals acted irrationally when in a crowd. He claimed just like a herd of cows will stampede, so will people. He referred to this as herd mentality. I think of herd mentality when watching news reports of sports fans rushing the field after a game, trying to climb goalposts, or catching things on fire. There seems to be little rationality behind these acts, and arguably individuals within this crowd would not do this on their own. Based on McKay's theory, LeBon believed that the individual was transformed by the crowd. They feel invincible and anonymous. A good modern-day example of this could be the comment sections on websites. People can say awful, racist, or sexist things that they may not say when their identity is known. Also, like LeBon suggested, they may pave the way for contagion. Contagion would be when people become highly suggestible and add fuel to the fire by adding their own comments in support of the original commenter's views. Once again, McKay and LeBon focused on the crowd and irrationality. Contemporary theorists argued that the crowd is acting rational, taking steps to reach a goal. For example, Burke argued that people try to minimize their cost and maximize their rewards. Another way of wording this is that if the costs to participate become too great in comparison to the rewards, flash mob, rumor, or whatever it may be, this is referred to as the mini-max strategy. Theorists Turner and Killian stated that we have social norms to help us understand how to act in our everyday lives. When we face what they called an extraordinary event, then we would develop new norms to deal with this problem. This is referred to as emergent norms. For example, most of you have not participated in a protest or even less likely a riot. Turner and Killian would argue that the group would collectively develop new norms for learning how to behave in this situation. For the rest of this video, I will focus on examples of different forms of collective behavior. As stated in the beginning of the video, some of these are serious and some will be people having fun together. I will start off with some more serious examples and end this video with some fun examples related to collective behavior. The first example of collective behavior is a riot. Some societal conditions must exist for a riot to occur. One, there must be existing frustration and anger or feelings of relative deprivation. This could be the case when we have a race riot. If racial minorities feel that they have experienced these conditions, for example, being treated unfairly in society, up towards a riot. Second, we have to have a precipitating event. This is an example of the ongoing conditions this group faces. I refer to this as the straw that broke the camel's back. Normally, this event is after a court case or lack of justice. For example, most race riots do not occur after the initial beating of a racial minority, but after a police officer is acquitted of using excessive force. The precipitating event in this case is the verdict and not the beating. Basically, lack of justice in things or societal conditions will continue to be as is. The next form of collective behavior is the panic. One of the most famous examples of a panic is when War of the Worlds was broadcasted over the radio and created mass panic. Similar to my discussion on 6 degrees of separation, the War of the Worlds panic was overblown and didn't really occur. Panics would be when people began to irrationally fear their likelihood of getting the swine flu, or H1N1, Ebola a few years ago, or the Zika virus. It's not to say that people do not contract these diseases that could have serious consequences, The point is that the fear is disproportional to the likelihood of the individual actually experiencing it. The next three types of collective behavior I'll discuss are less serious, which are rumors, urban legends, and fads. Rumors are unverified information about some topic. They thrive on ambiguity, meaning people can see both how the rumor could be true or false. My favorite examples of rumors are those that we see spread on Facebook. For example, the rumor that children are drugged or poisoned by random strangers through Halloween candy. There have been 2 documented cases of a neighbor or a parent trying to kill a particular child. This, as you can see linked here, indicates a few other cases. However, all of the child victims were, again, not due to random strangers poisoning candy. A good place to investigate rumors is through Snopes.com, which is a popular website that attempts to uncover the original source for a news report, rumor, or claim if the story is true or false. Try their website out and see how upset you can make Facebook friends and family members by commenting on the rumors they attempt to spread with a Snopes article reporting their shared post is false. The next example is an urban legend. In your textbook, Henslin discusses Jan Bunvard's theory regarding urban legends. According to Bunvard, urban legends are stories with an ironic twist that sound realistic but are untrue. Usually they sound more believable than rumors or other stories since they happen to a friend of a friend or at some local place. Urban legends are also modern morality lessons, which teach us about life. They may also be related to fears about societal change. My favorite urban legend is a story that goes something like this. In the 1950s, there was this couple that was listening to the radio while they were parked at Makeout Point. As they were getting to know each other, a breaking their music. Apparently, a crazed killer with a hook for a hand escaped from the local prison a few miles away. The report says to be on the lookout because this man is considered extremely dangerous. The couple goes back to whatever they are doing until the girl starts to hear scratching on the side of the car. She asks if her partner hears anything, to which he replies, "No, baby, it's cool. Take your shirt off." She continues to hear scratching sounds and becomes uncomfortable and asks to be taken home. Her companion says sure and drives her back home. Once he parks the car at her place, he walks around to the passenger side to let her out. As he's down, he notices a hook stuck in the door handle. Perhaps they just missed an encounter with a crazed, escaped killer. What does this story tell us about fear of social change? For me, this old story describes parents' fears of their teens engaging in risky sexual behaviors. Perhaps during the 1950s, there was also fear related to sex outside of marriage, or at least the stigma attached to these behaviors. Fears about sex are also morality lessons. These teens could have been killed. They were lucky to have survived this encounter. We should be at home saying our prayers, doing our homework, or other wholesome things. We should not be parked in the dark in a secluded area having sex. The final form of collective behavior is a fad. In order to understand a fad, you must know a related concept, fashion. For sociologists, fashion is some cultural artifact, for example, a physical object, hairstyle, behavior, etc., that has a long-lasting impact on our society. Examples of fashions could be clothing like blue jeans, smartphones, MP3s, or computers and cars. We are not going back to Nokia brick phones. Pretty much all phones from here on out will be smartphones. Most cars now have multiple computers within them and are no longer just metal, mechanical parts without thinking. It takes greater skill to rebuild a car with computer parts that control functions rather than replacing mechanical ones. Fads or crazes are short-lived. Everyone rushes out to buy this product or engage in this behavior, and then all of a sudden, no one cares. Famous fads are things like men spiking and bleaching the tips of their hair in the early 2000s, Beanie Babies in the 1990s, leg warmers in the 1980s, dabbing or fidget spinners a year or so ago. This can